Hey guys, welcome back to our Taco channel, and it's been a while since I made Ultra Debate episodes. And today I'll be talking about the game that we all love and wish have another sequel, but well, it seems like we're never gonna get it, and I will explain why. And also, I will also think how we could make or how Ultraman Fighting Evolution will have a sequel. But first of all, let's talk about the very first Ultraman Fighting Evolution. First ever Ultraman Fighting Evolution was released on 1998. That was very long ago. That was made 24 years ago, and it was released by Banpresto. And of course, all of the Ultra Fighting Evolution game was made by Banpresto. But just to point out, it's a 3D game for PlayStation console, and I'm talking about the really old PlayStation console, like the one with the really loud square orange intro. And it only have 12 characters. Next up is Ultraman Fighting Evolution 2 that was made on 2002, and it was for PlayStation 2. That's a lot of 2s if you ask me. And I think this one is actually better, like really better, because it actually fixed a lot of problems that a lot of the past titles have. Like when I'm talking about the past titles, I'm talking about all of Ultraman fighting games. There's a lot of fighting Ultraman games before Fighting Evolution. And then 2 years later, we got the game that we all love, and most likely all of you guys have at least played it at least once. That is Ultraman Fighting Evolution 3, which is easily the best one, I think, other than the mechanics, because the mechanics is kind of broken because there's a lot of useless characters, and well, only Ultraman are OP most of the time unless you're playing on the story mode. And also, I really like the idea of putting a lot of story modes from the original series into the games and show the backstory ideas. For example, in the original series, Ultraman's supposed to die and then Zoffy came to fight, but in the series they scrapped that idea and make Zoffy just came to rescue him. But in the game you can actually fight using Zoffy, but that's another story. And finally, on 2005, we have Ultraman Evolution Rebirth. Notice this: 2002, 2004, and then 1 year later for the fourth entry, Ultraman Rebirth. Like, why don't they wait longer? And that's weird. And the reason is because actually many people kind of lose interest, and Ultraman Rebirth is when they try to make this series alive, because as you notice in Ultraman Rebirth, story is basically a new thing and never been seen before. The stories that was shown in the game never been shown on TV or never been told anywhere else other than that specific games. So I think they really want to do it and they really like this series, but it ended up bad because first of all, EX characters are really OP and really mean and really unstable, just not balanced enough, which is not fun for people who likes to play this game. Because if you have a character that's extremely OP by default, then you don't gonna like it. Now I'm sure you guys already understand why Fighting Evolution will never get another version, because the game was unbalanced, and I think the writer is really not good at making games that are balanced. Like, the games are great, but it's not balanced. It's a fighting game, it's supposed to be balanced. And also, Fighting Evolution Rebirth are the only ones where they put an original stories. It's not really interesting. It's interesting for people who really into Ultraman. So for people who just don't care or maybe just want to explore new stories, won't really like it because it's an old story. Unless Fighting Evolution 3, which did a nice job at doing it, because they also show the backstory stories, which is an extra, which is also something that you never seen before, so that's okay. But that's kind of late too. So now let's talk about Ultraman Fighting Evolution 4. First of all, let's fix the problem that many people have been hated on Fighting Evolution games, that is, it's always on Japanese. Like, I don't care really if they're gonna put or dub as Japanese, at least make an option to change to English, because at this point it looks like it only appeal to Japanese people. So people who wants to play and isn't learning about Japanese or not even Japanese, cannot play this game with ease. They need to try to memorize these symbols because they don't understand the language. That happens a lot to me, and every time I look at Japanese word, I kinda understand it. I have been doing this a lot of times. Japanese media doesn't been translated, and I had to translate it myself, something like that. Number 2 is of course a balanced character. So if the character are in the show as really OP, we gotta make their HP lower, or at least make something on them lower or weaken. For example, in Pokemon, there's a Pokemon called Slacking, and his base stat total is really high. It's the same base stat total as the legendary Pokemon Groudon, and that's insane. But they nerf him with giving him an ability called Truan, which disable his attack, I think, and doesn't allow him to attack for at least 2 turns. And then after 2 turns, he can attack again. But well, that's not really a good nerf either actually. But still, there's also an example of this in Ultraman Fighting Evolution. As I said earlier, EX Siren 2 has the lowest HP but has the strongest powers. So that's I think a good nerf. And the second one is Ultraman Fighting Evolution 3, where if Cosmos goes into Eclipse mode, his hit points or whatever that red bar is going to fill up automatically. So the opponent doesn't need to try to fill it up because it's already automatically filling it itself. So yeah, that's a good nerf. Number 3 is a new gimmick, which is a problem because what kind of gimmick would you put in Ultraman games? Seriously, what kind of gimmicks? I mean, in Ultraman Fighting Evolution Rebirth, there are gimmicks that are something have to do with pushing button and probably destroying your controller. So basically, if the 2 characters use the charge attack, and they will clash together and keep spamming button until one of them wins after a couple seconds. And that's at least a decent thing, and maybe they could do something like that. I don't know. Or maybe clashing laser beams. Like in Ultraman Fighting Evolution 3, there's beam clashing on story mode, so it's only available on story modes, specifically Ultraman Tiga story mode versus Evil Tiga. And that's kind of bad. Like, I want to see more of laser beam clashing together. That's just really cool, but it's only available on Evil Tiga's missions. So yeah, I wish they do that as one of the gimmicks or specials. And number 4, including a better character. And this is like a roasting on Fighting Evolution 3 because there's a lot of useless character there. I think like they should pick a better character to be in the game. Like a lot of Ultramans, they are good, but lots of them are the same. For example, Zophie is good, but Zophie only have a couple of moves and is not really interesting. And also in Fighting Evolution 3, he basically just Ultraman with different special move. So don't include him. And then Jack is also cool, but he looks alike as Ultraman, and obviously Ultraman gonna be in the game. So nah. 7 will probably be in the game, and I think Ace should be in the game because he's a Guillotine King, and I think he should be in the game. And then Taro is also gonna be in the game for being the most popular Showa Ultra. I think Leo could be in the game, but Astra will not be because they're probably the same characters. Like in Fighting Evolution 3, Leo is a character that is, I think, cool enough, and Astra just a less cooler version because he is weaker and have less powers. And then 18 is cool, but because of how to achieve 18 in Ultraman Fighting Evolution 3, I feel like a punishment for him is that to not include him in future games. And for new generation Ultraman, that's also a big problem now, and I understand why they would not make Fighting Evolution 4. But let's say this is prior to 2009, the newest Ultraman is 0. So if they put 0 in, I think that's fine. I don't think 0 is crazy at the time of 2009. It's basically normal, just really popular, and that's all. And finally, also a big problem is that the game doesn't have their own theme until Fighting Evolution Rebirth. Like, what the hell is that? Fighting Evolution 1, no actual theme. Fighting Evolution 2 doesn't have a theme. Fighting Evolution Rebirth use Ultraman Gaia theme for some reason, despite Ultraman Cosmos is the newest one. And Fighting Evolution Rebirth finally having a main theme, just not banger, so eh. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But before that, I'm gonna say thank you so much for giving suggestion for the video, but not this video because you guys didn't give the suggestion for this video. But there's a lot of you guys that give suggestion, but sadly there's a lot of them that I decline. And the reason is not because I dislike you guys or something like that. I hope you guys don't think that way. The reason is because majority of you guys ask me to do something outside of Ultraman, which is something that I don't want to do. Okay, like Super Sentai, I love Super Sentai. Sadly, I am not really into the series. What I mean is that I watch a lot of Super Sentai, okay, but I'm not geeked about. Basically, I watch and forgot most of the time. Same with Kamen Rider. So I think Ultraman is probably the one that I remember a lot, so I'm sorry, I have to reject that. Same with Godzilla, you guys also ask for Godzilla and other people also ask for Star Wars. I don't watch Star Wars. Only time I watch Star Wars are Star Wars Rebel series, which on Disney XD. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.